With the help of the James Webb Space Telescope, scientists discover a black hole C1. Research shows this black hole existed after the Big Bang, only 470 million years. Its mass is tens of millions of times greater than our Sun. According to standard theory, black holes take time to pass, attack surrounding star matter, or merge with other black holes. Gradually grew to such a massive mass, but C1 has achieved this at an amazing speed. Huge scale. It's like this black hole existed before the Big Bang. Recent discoveries. What exactly is it for astronomers? What problems did it bring? First of all, why should we choose Big Bang theory as universe? What about the main hypothesis of origin? Early 20th century, most scientists believe the universe has always been stable, constant state. This is the so-called stable universe theory. There is no beginning and no end. No explosion. There are no drastic changes. One of the proponents of this theory is the astronomer, cosmologist Fred Hoyle. He and the Austrian physicist, Thomas Gold, worked on this theory together. But everything changed in the 1920s. The astronomer Edwin Hubble discovered the red sphere phenomenon. Proof that galaxies are moving away from each other. The galaxy's light is stretched. Like the red end of the spectrum shifts it out. This discovery did not lead to a stable universe model. Too much attention from supporters. Gold once believed expansion of galaxies can be explained by the continuous production of new substances. This way the overall density of the universe remains constant. But it also implies that the universe is infinite. Galaxies and stars seem to appear out of thin air. This view has convinced many scientists, including Hubble, find it difficult to accept. So then the historical astronomer George Lemaitre proposed a possible explanation. He reasoned, if galaxies are now moving away from each other, they must have been very close in the past, even so close, so that they are no longer galaxies. Rather, it is compressed into an extremely dense example. Lemaitre called this example a primitive atom. He thinks this example explodes and begins to expand, formed today's universe. By 1965, the skeptics' laughter ends abruptly. That year, the American physicist Arnold Penzias and Robert Wilson accidentally discovered cosmic microwaves, background radiation. This is the afterglow left over from the birth of the universe. Like the residual heat left after a campfire is extinguished, there is no way to use stability, cosmological theory to explain this phenomenon. This discovery is undoubtedly the basis for the Big Bang theory, provided favorable evidence. This moment, a little theory from the past, counterattack, and became the champion of cosmology. But of course not everyone. There is a theory if you give up easily. To resist this discovery, proponents of the balanced universe theory are proposed at the last moment, tired light hypothesis. German physicist Fritz Zierr once proposed, light can lose energy, but not because the universe is expanding. It's because he gradually lose energy. However, if this is the case, different wavelengths of light should travel at different rates. Loss of energy. However, observational data show light energy loss is uniform across wavelengths. As telescope technology advances, astronomers have discovered many classes of star galaxy. These quasars are active cores, has a huge black hole, and releases extremely huge energy. But these quasars are only appear in distant galaxies, means they existed in the ancient times of the universe. If the universe is eternal, we should be in today's world. Similar celestial bodies can also be found in the universe. This implies that the universe is constantly evolving. In addition, astronomers also discovered primitive blue clouds. These blue clouds cannot exist forever, because as time goes by, they will transform into stars. 2022. Astronomers have discovered a planet made almost entirely of a new galaxy made of noble gas. This universe didn't exist for a long time. Direct evidence provided, however, until 2013. Cosmic microwaves with the Planck space mission. Research on background radiation. Astronomers finally confirmed the age of the universe is approximately 13.8 billion years. This data become important evidence for the Big Bang theory of knowledge, because he is related to the oldest eternity in the universe, the age of stars and stars. In line with the end of the 20th century, discoveries come one after another, continue to verify the Big Bang theory, leaving it with almost no strong competitors. However, As astronomers continue to explore the universe, more and more contradictions and mysteries surface. One of the biggest questions is, where did all the antimatter go? According to the Big Bang Theory, matter and antimatter should be produced in equal quantities. But despite many efforts by scientists, but never found the reason, stars are galaxies made of antimatter. The amount of matter currently in the universe, more than 1 billion times what the Big Bang Theory predicts. Scientists originally predicted the amount of substance should be per cubic centimeter, Fuji 7th lattice particle, but actually, what we observed is, there are at least 10⁻⁷ cubic particles per cubic centimeter. That is 11 times more. To bridge this gap, quantum physicists propose, in the beginning of the universe, matter and antimatter flow freely from pure energy. Present, a mysterious seed asymmetry occurs. In other words, part of the antimatter self disappears. Eventually enough material remains to form who we are today, the galaxies and all matter seen. According to the Big Bang Theory, the distribution of matter in the universe should not be so uniform. No matter where in the universe we observe, we'll all find there are huge temperature differences between different areas. In fact, the red color in the cosmic microwave background radiation, the temperature difference between the zone and the blue zone is minimal, only 18 millionths of a degree. In other words, no matter which direction we look from, the temperature of the universe is almost the same. However, according to the Big Bang Theory, spaces in different areas should not be exchanged temperature information, because the speed of light limits the spread of information. To fill this gap, scientists propose inflation theory. Think the universe is still small enough when the temperature can be equal. The universe is expanding at a rate far exceeding the speed of light. It's like blowing up a balloon. Blow slowly at first, but just inhale quickly in sequence. The balloon can inflate instantly. Inflation theory holds that the universe started from a very small point, instantly expanded to its current size. This process happens in just a moment. Inflation theory also attempts to explain the flatness of the universe. That's why we are on a macro scale. No bending is visible, like stretching a wrinkled blanket. If you use Lyra from 4 directions, all wrinkles will disappear. In other words, inflation theory complements the Big Bang model, still enjoys widespread support, but no one can explain this expansion. How does swelling occur? In simple terms, who blows up the balloon? Who pulled the tablecloth? Astronomers didn't stop there. They encountered a new problem. Lie element problem, commonly known as the lie element mystery. According to the Big Bang Theory, any extreme explosion, like Big Bang, should all be produced. A small amount of plum elements and a large amount of harmful elements. But when measuring the chemical composition of ancient stars, legendary physicist Roger Penrose proposed the conformity cycle universe theory. He discovered rings in the cosmic microwave background, like patterns. These patterns may be derived from black hole from the previous cosmic cycle. Radiation traces, he thinks. Black holes evaporate at the end of each cycle, thus resetting the universe's wounds. Give every new cycle a fresh start. Although circular cosmology currently lacks sufficient evidence, come completely with Big Bang model competition. But he is undoubtedly in the alternative theory, is a strong competitor. In fact, Penrose's cyclic universe theory, initially it was to challenge eternity. Expansion theory. The idea was conceived by physicist Andre Lind, proposed in the 1980s. He is in the original, based on the original expansion model. Original model. Assume that expansion occurs uniformly throughout the universe, but he needs height. Specific initial conditions are required to take effect, Lind proposed. Expansion can be infinite through random quantum fluctuations. Continue. Despite the expansion, an approximately 14 billion years ago in our region of the universe, stopped, but he continues elsewhere. Countless isolation bubbles formed, created the so-called multiverse. Apparently the physicist was in Marvel Comics way back when. This idea was proposed before, but not like the multiverse in the comics. These other universes, by definition, so the Big Bang Theory still occupies a dominant position in this contest. Because he has more support, data brain theory initially looks more promising. As he is by Edward Wetton and Allen. In the 1990s, Guth based on the explicit theory framework. Manifest theory. Once upon a time, it was advantageous to have a unified theory of everything. Competitors in this theory. Our universe is just a three-dimensional brain. In simple terms, is a membrane that exists in a larger multidimensional space. These brains can interact with each other. Their collision could lead to a Big Bang-like event, create a new universe. But the problem is, despite numerous studies, scientists still failed to find any in our actual universe. Additional unique evidence. However, some scientists are trying. Bertrand's Big Bang theory. He even made some surprising points. Did you know that gravity doesn't exist? In fact, it's not the lead that's holding you to the Earth right now. Electromagnetic force. Challenging the Big Bang theory. Electric universe theory. Talbot and Sonhill believe that most phenomena we observe in the universe, not caused by gravity. It is caused by electromagnetic interaction. This means stars and planets are not formed through gravity. What he formed, as explained by traditional physics, but through strong current, interact with plasma. Huge electromagnetic fields spread throughout the universe, shaped galaxies and star systems as we know them. The same process keeps the planets in orbit, governs the movement of celestial bodies. Electric universe theory actually solves many problems related to the universe. Expansion-related issues, because he doesn't depend on the Big Bang. Rather, it proposes an ever-changing space. The universe has no beginning and no end. Is a steady-state universe. It just involves some extra steps. Although Talbot and Hill's plasma, many aspects of particle physics, experimentally verified, we can also observe it in the laboratory and on the sun. Similar phenomenon, but Yin-Libo is already in the black hole, merged, detected. Supporters of the electric universe theory believe that these may be misinterpreted as electrical events. But to be honest, we are not magnetized on Earth, so actually, everything has not flown yet. Proponent of the electrocosm theory of space. Already proved this to myself. Moreover, all modern astronomical observational data are consistent with the gravity model. The biggest contradiction in the Big Bang theory. Difficulties that scientists have always been unable to overcome. It's just a matter of starting point. This so-called infinite density point. It is the Big Bang theory that, where the universe originated. It is also where the interior of a black hole exists. So physicist Robert Hastings proposed a very simple, but full of Baylor's thoughts. If the starting point in a black hole and the origin of the Big Bang, the starting point of time is the same. So the black hole universe theory came into being. This theory holds that the density of the current observable space, roughly equivalent to the density of a black hole, and outside of him, there is a boundary similar to the worldly horizon. Beyond this boundary, we can't see anything. This theory holds that the universe did not begin with the Big Bang, but from the super of a previous universe, started by a nova explosion. The supernova then collapsed into a black hole, absorbed a lot of material, created the space we see today. Rather than having an impossible starting point, rather, the existence of black holes allows us to realize the universe may be like a cosmic matryoshka doll, the continuous reproduction of mutual indebtedness. However, since we can't really peer inside a black hole, testing this theory is nearly impossible. But Hastings proposed this theory precisely to highlight the void in modern physics, whiteness and limitations. If you say no, several embedded. The idea of manipulating the universe hasn't shocked you yet. So the holographic universe theory, it will definitely surprise you. Physicists Gerald Hurdle and Leonardo Su Shin is trying to solve the black hole. When information is discussed, proposed this theory. Facing a black hole, we don't know what's going on inside him. But quantum physics shows this information is in some way. Formula is retained. So Hurdle and Su Shin proposed. Information about the contents of a black hole is not inside it, but encoded on the surface of his career. If we develop this idea further, the entire universe may exist inside a black hole. Everything is projected onto its surface. Therefore, our universe may be an Aura-Earth universe, a three-dimensional projection, derived from levels of reality hidden from us. At this level, the true fundamental properties of the universe are revealed, constitutes the original appearance of the universe. Even if there is no Big Bang. But in order to verify the full seat theory, We must push the boundaries of our reality. But it's almost impossible. When you feel unable to cope with these contradictions, continuous improvement process. Famous philosopher Nick Bostrom proposed the theory of simulated universe. Think everything around us. It's just height. Artificial intelligence programmed and manufactured by advanced civilizations. Reality then. Since these inconsistencies may simply be the case. Stupid in the sequence. Why bother with the Big Bang Theory? What about all the problems, in general? Although there are many problems with the Big Bang Theory, he still dominates. Even if one day, another more consistent theory can better explain our universe. Don't worry too much, because science is about constant exploration.